And our next guest joining us again online is Miss Nimisha Narendram. Do we have a connection, please? Miss Narendram?
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, we can hear you and we can see you. So you can please proceed with your presentation.
A very good afternoon, the distinguished guest and my fellow colleagues. I am Dr. K. Nimisha Narendran, final year MD Scholar, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, Government Ayurveda College, Trivandrum. Today, I am here to share with you, to shed light on the condition that affects the millions of lives worldwide, rheumatoid arthritis. Let's take a step back and reflect on the history of this debilitating disease. In the past, rheumatoid arthritis has been a mysterious ailment, often misunderstood and misdiagnosed. It used to be a silent tormentor, silently wreaking havoc in the joints. In this picture dated back in 1841 to 1919 is of an impressionist painter, Sir Pierre-Auguste Renoir. He was one among the very few patients who were first diagnosed with RA. However, the time has changed and so is our understanding of RA in the past 13 decades. Today, we are armed with advanced diagnostic tools and innovative treatment options. We have made remarkable strides in the management of RA. The disability rate have decreased, but the stark reality remains the same. RA continues to cast its shadow on the lives of millions of people. As per World Health Organization, a staggering 18 million people are living with RA and 13 million of them are experiencing the severity levels. Let's have a look at these graphs. The recent studies analyzing the Bayesian age period cohort analysis, they allow us to disentangle the relationship between the age, time, and other generational factors. From this graph, it is evident that the incident increases right from the 5 years to 54 years, the peak between 50 and 54. Majority of the DALIs are reported in the age of 60 to 69, and also the age standardized incidence rate is going to increase by 18.23% in females and 8.34% in males by 2030, which is very near. So these insights that is provided by this Bayesian APC analysis, they serve as a wake-up call for us to and understand that there is a urgent need to reduce the global burden of RA. Let's understand the etiologies of rheumatoid arthritis. The phase 1 at risk, the genetic and the environmental factors have an interplay and in initiating the autoimmunity propagation onset of the disease. But this occurs very early in life, potentially as early as the prenatal development. The fetal exposure to smoke induces a risk for RA. Infections in the early period of life induces a risk for RA. The transfer of immune cells from the mother to the kid influences the T cell repertoire in the child. The second preclinical stage is where the environmental triggers enters the scene, orchestrating a symphony of complex interactions. The factors like smoking and hormonal changes, increased sodium consumption, increased red meat consumption, low levels of vitamin D, and obesity have emerged as influential players in the onset and propagation of rheumatoid arthritis. Now, the mucosal surfaces, they provide as a sites of amplification for these anti-citrullinated proteins. The dysregulation of citrullation, it plays an important role, important event, and it can occur at any of the mucosal site, may it be lung, gastrointestinal tract, or uroepithelium. And periodontitis is a very common infection that leads to the dysregulation of the citrullation very early in life. In the phase 3, the immune system itself takes up the spotlight. With the prior onset of the disease, the ACPAs undergo the epitope spreading. They activate the main pathway, that is complementary as well as the classical pathway of immune system, induce the osteoclastogenesis. They drive the macrophages to produce more and more tumor necrosis factor. So it is at this stage that the immune system turns into a double-edged sword, both as a protector and perpetrator, unleashing barrage of destructive forces on the delicate synovium. And therefore, rheumatoid arthritis is best characterized as an immune-mediated inflammatory disease that once initiated, even though the putative trigger is removed, feed-forward pathways result in auto-perpetuating process. Now, let's understand the pathogenesis of RA in 4 distinct stages. The first most stage, triggering stage, sets the scene. The intricate interplay between the genetic and the environmental factors help in production of the ACPAs, distribution of the ACPAs throughout the body. They activate the major histocompatibility class 2 dependent T cells, which further go and activate the B cells. So this spark or this trigger, it fans the flames of inflammation. It awakens the immune system from the slumber and sets the wheels of rheumatoid arthritis in motion. So once the triggering stage subsides, the maturation stage emerges. Initial maturation occurs in the secondary lymphoid tissues, which are encountered with an antigen, leads to either activation, apoptosis, or tolerance of the T cells, following which there is a co-stimulation of the cytokines and macrophages. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, these macrophages are the master orchestrators causing major damage in the RA. This animation is also the co-stimulation of cytokines and macrophages. So this stage is like an artist refining their craft. The immune cells evolves and mature into a full-fledged assault on the harmonious architecture of the joint. The destructive precision, the triggering, the targeting stage, it takes a center play. The unique anatomy of the small joints of the hands and the feet, they impose a high strain on the instability of the joint. The extracellular matrix, along with a crowd of immune cells, they increase the cell adhesion, enhancing the lymph angiogenesis and causing edema. Within the edema, there is increased osteoclastogenesis and increased the synoviocytes, which result in bone resorption and paves the way to the bone deformity. So this is again like the cells and molecules of our own system who were once the guardian of our health, now turn up again the body, ravaging the joints with fury. The synovial membrane, it offers the battle site, scarred by inflammation, pain, and erosion. And finally, the fulminant stage, it arrives like a crescendo in a symphony. The dysregulation in synoviocytes result in hyperplastic synovial membrane, which further perpetuates the destruction of the joints. Now, it is at this stage that RA is at its peak. The symptoms are more pronounced, the deformity is more common, and the impact on daily life is undeniable. So in this consent, it is right to say that the triggering stage, it ignites the flame, the maturation sharpens the immune system, targeting directs the assault, and fulminant stage marks the pinnacle of rheumatoid arthritis. So this disease, which was once a silent whisperer, now roars with full force, overwhelming the body and mind of those affected with rheumatoid arthritis. Now let's have a look of understanding RA from Ayurveda point of view. Vada Shonidam is a Vada Vyadhi Prabheda. It is a Santarpanajanya Vyadhi, and therefore Ama dosha is dominant initially. There is a vicious amalgamation of Vada and Rakta, and that is why it is called Vada Rakta. Mapping the etiologies from Ayurveda point of view, these highlighted nidanas are the key drivers. That is Vidahiyanam, Viruddhanam, Vidhihinam, Swapna, Jagara, and Maithunam, that too in the Prayana Sugumara Avastha. That Sugumara can be related to the early incidents by the Bayesian APC analysis, or it can be the factors in the sedentary lifestyles that were related in the preclinical stage of RA. So these successive, that is Ahara, Nidra, and Brahmacharya, are nothing but the uprooting of the Traya Upastambhas, the three pillars of life. Now let's see how the Vidahiyanam has an important role in causing Vada Shonidam. The capsaicinoids are the main source of spicy flavors, and they play a negative role by neurogenic inflammation. They cause irreversible degenerative changes. They trigger the DNA fragmentation and activates the caspase cascade. Also, the Vidhihinam, Nidra, and Brahmacharyam, Nidra, that is sleep and wake cycle once dysregulated, have a direct effect on the dysregulation of the adaptive immune response. Brahmacharya is very much related to the androgen receptors. It also acts directly by immune regulatory genes through DNA binding dependent or independent pathway. So all these are environmental factors. Where is the genetics? Acharya has very diligently mentioned the genetical nidana, papma bihi, karma bihi, not in Vadarakta, but in Kushta. So through the Vada Shonidam Kushta axis, I want to explain that the Nidana Samprapti of Kushta forms a stepping stone of this disease in the stage 1 and preclinical RA. Together with the genetic susceptibility, there occurs a Tiryak Gati of the malas and doshas, which vitiates the Twak, Lasiga, Asrik, Amisham, further vitiating the Sira, Kandara, and Dhamanis. Now, Kushta Samprapti, if it is not intervened at particular time, it becomes margagami and affects the deeper dhatus and shaka, showcasing itself as Gambhira Vadashunya. This entire concept is strengthened by the gunas of Shuddha Rakta, as mentioned by Acharya Shushruta in Sutra Sthana. Out of this, Dravatva and Lagutva is of importance in Vadashonidam. See, when the Rakta is Shuddha, where the pure blood is capable of circulating through the microchannels hazel-free, but once it is infiltrated by the immune cells, it loses the property of Dravatva and Lagutva. It becomes Guru and it deposits in the bare areas. So not only in Ayurveda, but also in the modern people are researching about where there is any common inflammation between the psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Next, on the road to manifestation of disease in Vada Shonida, there has to be a prerequisite Rakta Dushti. Rakta has already lost the Dravatva and Saratva. Vada also loses its Saratva and Sukshmatva property, and together there is an Avarana which leads to Dhatukshaya. So to break the chain, we need to administer medicines which are Deepana Pajana, which corrects the Jatharagni, Dhatwagni, which corrects the Avarana, which are Rakta Prasadana. Shodhana has a major role to play in the treatment of Vada Shonida, especially the Virejana and Vasti. Shira Vasti here is concentrated to to correct the bare areas to prevent the deformities, and rasayanas to combat the dhatu kshaya. Now, to prolong the remission, one has to maintain the balance of trayobastambhas that I mentioned earlier. And the one way to do is to follow the dinacharya and rutucharya, which are the exclusive features of Ayurveda. These are the importance of shodhana. These shlokas are taken from Ashtanga Hridaya Sutra Sthana. The highlighted ones are very much in correlation to the importance of gut flora dysbiosis that I also mentioned in my previous presentation. The gut flora dysbiosis correction reinstates the brain homeostasis by blood-brain barrier patch-up. So that is very much related to the buddhi prasadam and mano buddhi prasidati. Activation of the inflammasomes are very much related to the roga haram and balam, and reduction of the lipid peroxidation, activation of the catecholamines are related to kaya agni birvardhati. Another important treatment entity in Vada Shonidam is Siravedham or Rectamokshanam. Several years ago, first line treatment before all others was bloodletting. A shear stress on the endothelial wall as a result of increased blood flow may enhance the angiogenesis. Also, in RA, the microvascular density is significantly higher. Now, this is very much related to the loss of Laghu Guna of the Shuddha Rakta when it becomes Guru and becomes vitiated and deposited at the basement membranes. Now, this MRI image shows a striking association between the presence of bone erosion with increased intra-articular blood flow to the bare area. So, by timely recta mokshana, we can prevent the bones from getting deformed. Rasayanas and Patya was also explained in the previous presentation, although I would like to comment that selection of apt rasayana, depending on the patient's prakriti and the amsha kalpana of the doshas, should be administered post-shodhana. Only then they will be able to increase the reactive oxygen species and ameliorate the helper T cells. Towards the end of my presentation, I would like to share my dissertation topic, effect of Mundidiga Churna in Vada Rakta with special reference to rheumatoid arthritis. This formulation was taken from Chakradatta in Vada Shonida Chigilsa Adhyaya. The principal drug is Spharanthus indicus, belonging to Asteraceae family. Though it is Madhura Rasa, it is Laghu Guna. The plant has a mast cell stabilizing action and is nephroprotective. Another Anupana Dravya is Guduchi, that is Tinospora cordifolia, which is very well-known herb in Ayurveda. It is again Tikta Kashaya and Laghu Guna. So these Laghu Guna of two drugs together helped in fighting the or correcting the vitiated recta, which is having Guru Guna. And we got striking results in change in the anti-CCP titer value. 81.8% of the participants recruited were having titer value more than 500, which reduced to 18.2%. And also there was significant reduction in ESR, RA, and CRP at the end of 30 days. Now I have enlisted the research works in RA and Vada Shonidam conducted at Government Ayurveda College Trivandrum. The important ones have been highlighted over here. Like an evaluation of efficacy of Siraveda in the management Vada Shonidam shows that the bloodletting has a promising result in Vada Shonidam. Study on the effect of Hapusha Dhyapanavasti. Now Hapusha is the same drug Mundidiga that I selected. It has a significant reduction in IgG and IgM in the management of rheumatoid arthritis. And again, this randomized control trials to evaluate the efficacy of Shiravasti. Shiravasti is to correct the bone resorption and to prevent the bone from getting deformed. Towards the end, I would like to acknowledge the contribution of modern medicine in improving the quality of life of the patients afflicted with RA. They have got a variety of strategies, right from administering the steroids to the monoclonal antibodies. But I would like to state that the ultimate goal of any system of medicine to reduce in combating RA is to reduce the disease activity by rendering safe medicines and prolong the disease remission of RA, which is not achieved even now. So this is not a rabbit versus turtle race of modern medicine versus complementary medicines. Let us push together our boundaries of understanding RA and forge towards a path of brighter future to combat this debilitating disease. Towards the end, I would like to show the glimpse of this one casual working day at Government Ayurveda College OPD section. And towards the last, I would like to place on record a deep sense of gratitude to my guide, Dr. Ashwati ma'am, who helped me come up with this concept. I'm very much thankful to Dr. Sunil John sir, who helped me with the concept of Vada Shonida and Kushta axis. Lastly, I'm very much thankful to the Institute of Traditional and Complementary Medicine, Czech Republic, for providing this online platform to be able to share this piece of knowledge with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Narendra. Any questions here in the hall? No? Looks like no. So thank you again, Ms. Narendra, for your presentation.